bit about Marxism, the Unabomber being a Marxist, a little bit closeted Marxist. Maybe, potentially.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about kind of the future of where you see technology going. I think we briefly talked about UBI. With if I think there's a big AI scare.
Sure.
I think a lot of people are scared that AI is going to take over a lot of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens, then there's going to be something. People think that something's going to happen with the economy. Which way do you think that leans? Do you think that it is going to be more UBI focused, or do you think that we'll continue and just kind of revamp like this capitalist system?
Well, in a quote-unquote democratic society, I believe that my hope is that people have a say in this, and I think a lot of people like AI. So many people use it. The closer you get to Silicon Valley, the more intoxicating it is. But I think a lot of people use it for all kinds of tasks. I don't feel like writing this email to my boss. You do it. I don't feel like doing this essay. You do it. All this kind of stuff. But I think people typically get upset at a couple things. When their travel is affected, your flight is delayed, you have to sleep in the airport. People hate that. And the thing that people really don't like is when people touch their wallets. So I think that if it does become an issue of economic disruption, where people start losing their jobs to AI integrated softwares and systems, that's when people might. I mean, this is just kind of like an idea of what might happen, but I would think that if many, many people started losing their jobs, they would be like, whoa, 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 we need to pull the reins back, I would hope. And never discount the power of, like, human ability to kind of like stand up for what it believes in. It's just funny that what everyone seems to believe in now is the the magic of this thing, So it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, but it could be dangerous. I think that the main concern with that is not just losing jobs, but the way that we use it to automate weapon systems and military applications. I think that's if there's anything to really freak out about, don't worry about, some student cheating on his test with ChatGPT. Worry about missiles being launched by it making, the decisions about what to do and when to do it.
Yeah, can you speak a little bit about that? That's something that I had not even. I guess the military, I guess I know, is obviously using AI, but what do you think the AI is going to be used for specifically in the military industrial complex?
I wish I knew more about it, but I know that what a lot of people argue is that, and it's not, by the way, wholly autonomous at this point. There still needs to be a human being to authorize the activity of launching this or pressing that or doing these kinds of things. But most people argue, I think any sane person would argue, sure, you can have automated systems that have the ability to do this thing, but there needs to be a quality control coming from a conscious human being to say, I authorize you to do that thing, press that button, launch that thing. And I would certainly hope that it remains that way. But I guess the fear is that nothing works perfectly, I mean, sometimes power losses happen, and then when things reboot, it automatically does things you don't want it to do. I mean, think about, I have a ceiling fan in my house that I always have off, because if it's in the full position, it starts rocking and it'll fall off the ceiling.
Yeah.
So if the power ever goes out, I have to worry about being home when it comes back on to make sure it doesn't fly off the ceiling. So take that micro and put it macro on an advanced automated weapon system, So, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. I guess that's one thing we didn't really touch on is AI. As a college professor, I'm sure you see this all the time in essays and research papers and stuff. How do you see it affecting people's everyday life?
Well, the one thing that tripped me out is like I knew Chat GPT was a thing, and I knew a lot of people used it. Um, but I was with a class. I think it was last semester, and it was they're doing their group work, and someone raised their hand, and they're like, "Oh, I'm trying to figure out what did what did this person mean by this term or something?" And they showed me their screen, and it was ChatGPT. And they're like, "Oh, well, let me look it up real quick." Almost like they were doing an internet search, like a Google search. But I don't think people are using Googles anymore. They just type everything into ChatGPT. And I felt kind of like an idiot. I'm like, "You guys use this?" They're like, "Yeah, we use it for everything." Like looking at me like I was an idiot, you know? So, I mean, I've had my concerns about Google, but I had no idea that that is almost like outdated now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy just how fast it's like. I mean, pretty much since it came out, it just had this explosive growth. I mean, because I remember I had watched a YouTube video a long time ago, and it was some guy basically was using the early version of ChatGPT, and he was typing in it questions, and it had a voice reader or whatever, and so the text that came back he could hear automated,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like talking to this thing, and I was like, dude, this is crazy. I was like, this has got to get shut down, and now everyone uses it. So it's
Was
it's
it coming back
crazy.
with inflammatory or racist remarks or something like? Yeah.
Not at that time, no.
Yeah.
I know there was a I in the early days, I think it was Gemini, the Google's AI. Someone had asked it, oh, can you give me a picture of the founding fathers? And it showed like it was like an old white guy, and then a black guy, and then a black girl, and it's just like of the founding fathers, like that was supposed to be the founding
Right.
fathers.
Right.
And then some people were just like, okay, like there's there's including diversity, but there's also misrepresenting the truth. And I think they did the same thing with Nazis, and Google spat out the same sort of things.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess when you get to that point, you really got to start training those things for the truth. Because if those things spin out of control, one thing that I heard recently was, if you keep feeding these huge algorithms these lies, then they're going to be able to lie back to you, and just they're going to give you information they think is true, and you're going to accept as true, but it's a complete lie.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of how you get a Terminator situation.
Right. Well, and I think the important thing to remember is just on even a very, very basic philosophical level, we are all inherently attached to our own subjective frame of reference. I see the world the way I see it. You see the world the way you see it. And we agree on the definition of words, like that's a green light, go. That's a red light, stop. We all know that's the case, and we can agree on that. But I have no way of knowing that my green light looks exactly the same as your green light does. Just that we agree on it verbally and kind of like, in terms of language, that's fine. But if everyone is being fed information in a certain way that caters to their algorithm, that in a way defines the reality of the world. Like, and I'm talking about not just the way you think the world is, but the way the world appears to you and how you interact with it. So if so many people are getting different versions of it, and there's been all kinds of studies about this, depending on your location, depending on your search history, that's the kind of YouTube videos you're shown. That's the kind of advertisements you're shown. This shapes people's worldviews. So what's implied there logically is that there doesn't just exist one reality that we're all a part of. There exists many, many, many billions of realities that are all conflicting with each other. And this, I know we're talking about AI, but AI is actually generating these algorithms, so I think it's worthy of mention. This may or may not be the reason why there is a lot of conflict and disagreement just within our own nation, let alone the entire world, about what is and what is not the case. You said the word truth. I don't think that word exists anymore. There's too many truths. Yeah.
Do you think people are